Well, Miller Lite is the latest beer brand facing a stunning backlash for a man-bashing ad. The US beer famously used Playboy models in its signature campaigns throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Meghan Markle, of course, went on to be a suitcase girl on Deal or No Deal, fronted this ad for the brand in 2010. But the new commercial strikes a rather different tone.
Here's a little-known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis. Wow. Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's
Terrible. Aren't men awful? Awful. Women in bikinis. Shocking. Who would have thought any woman would want to be in a bikini, admired by men? I mean, it's just the last thing you'd be wearing a bikini for, right? Its parent company has trashed its own brand's mud wrestling catfight ad from 2003 in its defense, saying women shouldn't be forced to mud wrestle in order to sell beer. Why not? I thought mud was good for the skin. Competitor Bud Light's notorious campaign featuring influencer Dylan Mulvaney has so far cost the company more than $6 million in market capitalization. I think it was $6 billion, actually, because actually it turned out men didn't want to be told that they're idiots and that actually this beer was aimed at transgender women who are biological males who are pretending to be women. So are they using the power of advertising to make a powerful and progressive social point to these companies, or just deliberately self-harming themselves by alienating their core customers? I'm joined by former Levi's brand president Jennifer Say, political journalist Ava Santino. All right, well, welcome to both of you. Jennifer Say, there seems to have been a run of these kind of adverts. And it goes back, I think, to the infamous Gillette one in the wake of the Me Too campaign, which was a perfectly laudable campaign. I'm not knocking it at all, but the Gillette campaign that ran after it, which basically, rather than celebrating masculinity, became a tirade of abuse about effectively all men are awful monsters unless they can prove otherwise. And Gillette lost, I think, $9 billion off the bottom line until they did a complete reverse ferret and went back to celebrating masculinity again. And we're going to see the same thing with Bud Light. I suspect we'll see the same thing with Miller Lite. What is going on here? Why are these companies surrendering to this, well, what Elon Musk would call the woke virus?
Well, I would, having been in the boardrooms and executive rooms for a very long time, I would call it woke washing. It may be a cynical take, but I can tell you it is true. These brands are thinking if we align ourselves with the perceived values of younger consumers, Gen Z and millennials, they'll like us and they'll buy our product. We don't have to talk about product. We don't have to talk about product benefit. We'll just align ourselves with their values so that we can make money off of it. And it's a virtue signal to distance themselves from, past campaigns, the greedy business magnates of the past. And it also serves to conceal the less altruistic business practices. So it's a lie. And that shielding works. The press generally is all in on it. They're able to avoid scrutiny from the press by taking these stances. And they just don't think about the fact that half the consumer base is not aligned. They just aren't. And that insulting your consumer is not the way to go. Yeah. Usually if you insult the consumer, they're going to reject the product.
And they're catching a gigantic financial cold. So, Ava, here's my issue about this. What is wrong with using sexy women in bikinis to sell beer?
Well, I think actually your commentator explained it perfectly there. You are alienating half of your base. This is
Why would a woman find that offensive?
Well, hang on. This is a person here who apparently was in the boardroom for Levi, but doesn't understand that actually women are consumers, and perhaps maybe they are going to now spend half of the business.
You're not answering my question. Why would women be offended by attractive women posing in bikinis to sell beer?
I'm not offended by attractive women. I am offended by men over-sexualizing women. And do you know what? Do you know what it is? Piers? A lot of men can't control themselves. A lot of men think that if they buy that beer,
well, they mud wrestling ad,
they are then entitled to
I think it celebrates
womanhood
and it celebrates the beauty of mud, which we all know is good for the skin.
That's
What's
ridiculous.
Wrong with it?
Come on, let's actually think. What are we watching here? What has this got to do with beer? Why am I going to buy this product? I'm a big
You know
beer
why?
drinker.
Because it was a joke. And there used to be a time, pre-wokery, when you were allowed to just have a joke. The women were in on it. The men were in on it. Everybody laughed. Nobody got offended. Now people watch that kind of ad and they literally go nuts.
I would argue
they find themselves being electrified in a triggering manner. They have to go and hide in a safe space. Then they launch marches down main busy thoroughfares because of a joke. What has happened to that light hand on the tiller? Why do we care so much? Why have we now got to expose men to all these adverts doing a kind of reverse assault on us?
Have you considered that maybe it's not all about men? Maybe there are actually a large proportion of females that would like to see adverts that don't include scantily clad women?
Why is Bud Light's market cap just disintegrating?
Now that's a different topic altogether. I think I think you could see there is some merit in we don't need to sexualise women in order to sell beer. The Bud Light thing is different.
You sexualise yourselves in lots of women's magazines and indeed in men's magazines.
I don't think I did anything of the sort.
You may not have done personally. It's only a matter of time,
Maybe
though, Ava. Now that you're a television superstar, when the money comes from GQ, I'm not saying you will. I'm just saying, normally in my experience, that will happen.
And then that is up to those men to buy those magazines, and perhaps if they'd like to peruse it, they can. But it doesn't mean that women are going to buy them and have a look.
If you go around the high street and look
at
women's magazines, there'll be lots of women in bikinis.
And how unhealthy was that on a whole generation of women?
No, now.
How unhealthy is that?
Why is it unhealthy?
Because it sparked a whole generation.
Nothing
of
radiates
eating
good health more
disorders.
than a very attractive, fit woman in a bikini.
No, that's not
rather
true.
like, by the way that women have for a very long time drooled over good-looking men. For example...
No, that's totally different.
Oh, I don't think so. Let's look at this wonderful ad. Love to you. I want to make love to you. Ava, I'm not aiming that at you. I'm just repeating what I've just seen in the... Your Honour, I rest my case.
I think you enjoyed that more than I did.
You know why I did this? It's because I enjoyed it because of the stinking hypocrisy.
No, that's ridiculous.
And by the way, because most women I know, and I suspect you would be like this if we were off camera in a pub somewhere, you would laugh at stuff like this. It's just we're now forced, because of this woke virus, to take all these things incredibly seriously, to be incredibly offended. No one's allowed to laugh. No one can find these things humorous. No one thinks that women can fancy men or men fancy women. It's all evil. How did we get so boring, Ava?
Are you joking? I don't know if you're actually joking.
No, I'm serious.
It's all about a power dynamic. You must be able to see that those women...
What were those women about the men?
They are playfully laughing and just, it's all a good joke and we're all in on it.
I love the fact you're trying to defend this.
When we're talking about two women slinging themselves over each other...
I love the fact you're trying to draw some distinction between what we're watching here. Let me bring back Jennifer. Jennifer, this to me just, I'm afraid, epitomises the rank double standard. Right? On the one...
Can I suggest...
Go on.
I think there's something that is in between where we're not objectifying women. And I would cite a Bud Light ad that ran just a few months ago with Miles Teller and his wife that had the trademark Bud Light humor. It was funny. It demonstrated sort of an updated view to masculinity and what it means to be a man. He's a good husband. He's charming. He's funny. He's dancing with his wife. And she's not scantily clad. They're having fun together. He's not sort of shoving her out of the way to get to his beer. So I would agree with you. Humor works in advertising. Why do we have to abandon that? Why does it have to be so worthy?
Why do we get so prudish? Why can't we just also enjoy the male and female form? I mean, seriously.
We certainly can. And I would cite another ad, which you may be familiar with in the 80s, one of Levi's most successful ads that ran in the UK, featuring Nick Kamen for 501 Shrink to Fit Jeans. I don't know if you remember this ad. One of the most successful of all time. It's a good sort of analog to the Diet Coke one you ran because it's funny, it's cheeky. There's little ladies that think he looks cute when he takes his pants off in the laundromat. No one's objectified. It's funny, but here's the other thing.
Of course he's being objectified, but nobody cares. Men don't care. Why do women care?
The product is at the center. This is the problem. I'm not going to buy something because a female brewer from 200 years ago made it. Why do I care?
You know what? If I saw a good bit of mud wrestling on TV tomorrow, I'd go and buy that beer instinctively. I would. Maybe. Just on principle. Just because it'd be so refreshing to see an ad that was actually a bit naughty and a bit funny.
That's fair. I think bringing humor back is important.
We've forgotten, I think, Jennifer, honestly, I think we have forgotten how to laugh. Wokery is where comedy goes to die.
Laugh.
And this is the problem. We've forgotten how to have fun between the sexes and just to have a laugh. The old saucy postcards, they'll be coming for those next, the ones on the beach, on the resorts. They'll have to go. Can't have jokes about things like sex. Got to leave it there. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Please, can we bring back some humour? Can we just go back to having fun? Having a laugh? No one's going to die. It's all fine.